Hello and welcome to the 500th edition of The Pursuit of Truth. So I was watching the Osbournes, is it called Believing? I can't remember what it's called now, something like that, and it's about where Jack Osbourne shows his parents, Ozzy Osbourne, Sharon Osbourne, UFO and those kinds of paranormal clips. And they asked him a question about flat Earth, and he laughed, obviously, which I was quite surprised because he's very open-minded to the idea of ghosts and UFOs when you show footage that easily could just be people pretending, and he believes those things. But when it came to flat Earth, he laughed, and then he said, and his reasoning was that because he was on a plane and he travelled from this location to this location to this location. I thought he was going to say, and he looked out the window and he saw the curvature of the Earth, which of course you can't see from that kind of height based on the science that they say. But he didn't. He just said that was his reasoning, just because he flew from here to here to here. Which, of course, if you turn the globe Earth into a flat surface, you could fly from there to there to there, and that wouldn't be a great reasoning for saying it. So I was surprised that was the best he could come up with. And yeah, it's strange. I mean, I'm still undecided. I thought I'd talk about this because this is the 500th edition, and flat Earth was where we started. I think the thing with flat Earth is I don't know, because when you think about the idea that we're on the round, if the base of the Earth is round, if you filled it up water, it would be level on top, because that's what we see when it comes to baths, when it comes to bowls, whatever you look, the water's always flat. The problem we have is we know that, but then when we see the image, and I use this word, from NASA and of the Earth, and it looks like a globe, looks round, we see that water is bent, and of course that's a problem because it doesn't fit the way that we see water. And I know there's the idea because the curve is gradual, but still, even if you had a bath where the curve was a gradual circle, lines, straight lines, it would still form on the top a straight line. So every body of water we look at looks straight, but then when we see the image that NASA shows us, it looks like it's going round, and you've got to try and square those two up. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. People are going to probably comment on this one. I think the key importance to me, because what I usually talk about on this podcast is human suffering and the system and the way we live. The more important thing to me is with flat Earth is it opened my mind to then, and this is why I think flat Earth is key in that sense. It doesn't matter whether it is flat or round, really, because whatever we're living on, I know people say, well, then that means they're lying. But we know humans lie. There's lots of examples of lies, greater and easier to find than this one, because we can't go up and take. Well, I know there are drone pictures that show the line being flat, but it doesn't really change anything, really. If we did all find out, we did live on a flat surface, and then, well, what would it change? We're still living with the same people who are corrupt and all the suffering that's going on. But what I believe that the flat Earth, what it does is it opens your mind to then re-examining the rest of the world that you're living in, thinking that there could be this great line, then looking at everything else and saying, wait a minute, I realise that human beings do lie. The system that we live within, it doesn't help out the majority of people. I don't know. I was going to say something more about flat Earth, but I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But that comes to the next point I was going to talk about. JFK, talking from the last 499 podcast, is this idea of behind the mask. That we often look at who did it. Was it Lee Harvey Oswald, CIA, mafia, etc.? But really, if we break it down to actual truths, it was human beings. One human killed another human. And the real issue we should be looking at, because even if you found out it was CIA, what does it matter? We know the CIA performed lots of assassinations. There was the one that's mentioned in that program in the Congo where they assassinated people. We know, that the UK and the US, the West, has done this regime change and assassinating people in the past, etc. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, etc. It's funny though, in the 60s, when you look at all those ones that were killed, what was the combination? That they were all talking about racism and all talking about Russia and things like that. But what I'm trying to show, the real crux of it is this humanity. And the problem is really, it doesn't matter who did it. The fact is that the system allowed it to happen, because that's the way we live. We live in this divided place where we divide things up to CIA, we divide things up in political parties, we divide each other up, but we're a humanity at the end of the day. And why do we want to kill? You know, let's say Lee Harvey Oswald did do it because he's a military man. He was told to do it because of, because Kennedy didn't want to. The military didn't want Kennedy to be friends, the US to be friends with Russia or Cuba or etc. This to do with the division of humanity, whereas really we're all one species on this place that we found ourselves upon, and we decided to live our life in the worst way, not the worst way possible because there are worse ways, but this way that causes suffering and problems and not an existence that's fair and equal to everyone. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.